This is gonna be a Galaxy S8 Plus long-term review. I've been using it for about 1.5 months, around 2 months already. So I have a lot of things to say about this phone, and I want to talk about this phone to you guys on many parts. So I want to start it with the display. This is definitely a Super AMOLED display, and everyone knows that it's the infinite display, which on the viewing experience is really immersive and truly great, and there's no question for that. And the screen body ratio is definitely really high. iPhone is around 67% of screen to body ratio. This phone is like 70% to 80%, which is much bigger, much more immersive screen. So it's really beautiful. I mean, if you're watching YouTube, if you're playing game on this phone, it's really great. I definitely love the display. And the Super AMOLED display really makes everything so clear, more energy efficient, and the black part of this phone looks more black than the LCD or LED panel. Definitely really great. But of course, the default resolution for this display is a Full HD display. Samsung balance between the power, the efficiency, the battery life, and the viewing display resolution. So they pick default for the Full HD, but you definitely can adjust it in the setting for Quad HD. There's no question for that. And I use it in the Full HD. I mean, it's still super beautiful, super clear. I never ever see a pixel on this phone. Everything looks really clear, smooth, and this display is definitely a super awesome display. And Samsung this year on both your S8 and S8 Plus, they both use dual edge design, which is I think is super awesome. Samsung really make this edge part of this phone really smooth, really nice, really fit to your hand very well and comfortably. So I think that is super awesome. And the app's edge, these edge part you can adjust to add to your frequent use app. You can set up your alarm, you can watch news, watch weathers. You can do a lot of things with this edge, like your favorite team score or the stock prices. I think it's pretty useful. And the latest CNN news, I think it's pretty useful, and it's very easy to access, and it's pretty easy to slide from the side. So it's super awesome. I definitely love this edge part. And I think the display overall is definitely a really high quality AMOLED display, and it's reasonable because this is a flagship model, and Samsung want to put their best display onto this phone, and especially after last year Note 7 instance, they really want to push this phone to their highest standard and highest quality. So this is undoubtedly the best display I ever seen on any phone. And a lot of people said that this phone looks pretty red in some conditions. I definitely believe that this is some malfunction for certain phones that is coming out. On my phone, I haven't really experienced these kind of issues. The color looks really vibrant, really good, and it's pretty good. I didn't see any red sign or red part on this phone. So mine is pretty good, no problem on mine. Okay, so let's talk about other part, the back of this phone. I use a case you probably cannot see very clearly, and I mean the black is very shiny, but definitely collect a lot of fingerprint, and it can get very dirty, but you can use these things to wipe up all the fingerprint or the dust. So it's pretty useful. And I put a case on because the biggest problem that people talk about this phone is definitely the fingerprint sensor, the weird position of the fingerprint sensor. But I mean, if you put a case on, all the problems solved. I can now easily put my hand on the fingerprint and unlock my phone, because it really, you see on the cases there's a separation between the fingerprint sensor and the camera itself, so you now really know which is the right position to put on. And if you use it for like several days, you really get used to it. But if you're not putting a case on this phone, the fingerprint sensor, the position is still really difficult to find it, really difficult to get used to it. So this fingerprint sensor is probably one of the biggest disadvantage or drawback of this smartphone. But if you use a case on, all the problems solved, and there's no problem for the fingerprint anymore. And I think the design of this phone is definitely fantastic, much better than iPhone in my opinion personally. Really clean, really nice, really shiny at the back, really immersive, really beautiful at the front. So the design, there's no question, this is one of the best most beautiful phone I ever seen for a really long time. I mean, the Xiaomi Mix is also a really like infinite display phone. I really love the design of Xiaomi Mix. Truly awesome. And this phone is also equally great. So this is the design part. Now I want to talk about the camera. A lot of people use their phone to do photography. A lot of people want to shoot great video, great photos. So I want to talk about this camera. On the back is a 12 megapixel back camera, and the front is a 8 megapixel camera. And I would say both of these camera qualities are really awesome, and you don't even have to worry about the camera qualities. The Galaxy S7 Edge has ridiculously great camera quality, super crazily fast autofocus, and it's exactly the same on this phone. Super fast autofocus, all the videos, all the image are super clear, super detailed, and there's no question. And the autofocus on this phone is ridiculously fast. So I mean, it's super awesome phone if you really want to do some photography on your smartphone. It's really a nice camera, and if you go online, goes to some website, some platform like DxOMark, this phone is rated at 88, which is pretty high. 89 is the Google Pixel, and there's a 90, which is the HTC U11. But I mean, this phone is really awesome. There's no question for that. The camera part, it's super nice. It's definitely a flagship quality, so you should not worry about the camera part. And now let's talk about the speaker. The speaker is another problem for me, I think. There's only one small speaker at the bottom. I mean, for the sound quality, there's no big issues. I mean, it's still really clear, really nice, but not too loud, but it's okay. But you really don't get that stereo experience you get on an iPhone or other Android flagship smartphone. I mean, it's kind of a little bit bad when you're comparing to like a lot of flagship smartphones that have stereo speaker. The one tiny speaker at the bottom is not just enough. I really hope Samsung can put a stereo speaker on this phone. That would really make the sound quality a little bit better. And if I watch a lot of YouTube on my phone, so I mean, sound quality is kind of important. I listen to music a lot on my phone, so sound quality is kind of really important for me. The speaker needs to be really good. But this phone, I'm not really satisfied with that. But for normal use, for people who not listen to too much video content, listen to a lot of music through the speaker, I mean, it's still an okay speaker, but it's not really good. And on the bottom, you also get a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is really nice that Samsung doesn't get rid of that. Also, I think the really nice features, a USB-C port that is super awesome. And on the last year Galaxy S7 Edge, they still use the micro USB port on the Galaxy S7 Edge. And they used USB-C port first time on the Note 7, but of course we all know what's happened to Note 7. So pretty much in a general sense that this phone is actually the first Samsung phone that use a USB-C port. I mean, that's super awesome. It's definitely going future. I mean, these things will be really popular. I mean, 2 to 3 years later, when a lot of accessories that is USB-C compatible is coming out, will be super nice. So the fast charging is another thing I want to talk about. The fast charging is okay. It's not really fast, like dash charging on a OnePlus 3 or OnePlus 3T, but it's okay. It's like 1 hour and 30 minutes, 90 minutes to 120 minutes, 1 hour and 30 minutes to around 2 hours. You can get a fully charged from 0% to 100%. I mean, that's okay fast, but it's definitely not the fastest charging standard out there yet. But it should be okay for majority of people, unless it's fast. At least it's faster than the iPhone charging speed, you know. And the battery life on this phone is really decent. There's no question for that. It can definitely last you for 1 day. The battery life is really good. I am quite a heavy user. I play a lot of games on my phone. I watch a lot of news, doing a lot of things, texting, video camera shootings, and like GPS on my phone, doing a lot of these. I mean, after 4 days, starting from 100%, after 4 days I still get around 10 to 20% of battery life left. I think that is pretty impressive, and it's around 3,500 milliamp battery life. But I think it should be good for majority people, but definitely Samsung didn't want to push their battery life push their battery size to the limits because Samsung really don't want to see what was happening in Note 7 happen again. They more focusing on the qualities and the security and safety. So they don't want to put the battery size to its maximum limit. They choose a 3500 milliamp, which should be okay for majority of people, but definitely they can do it better. But now it's just not the right time to do it. So probably they're gonna push the battery size on its limit on this year Note 8. I hope that really works. I mean, but it's still 3500 milliamp, still a really great battery sizes, and it definitely can last you for a full day for even for the heavy users. So let's go talk about its software. I think software is really what people really care, and the user experience really, I think, one of the most important things when consider getting a smartphone. I mean, this is running Android 7.0 Nougat, but definitely Samsung do a lot of minor changes on the pure Android version. I mean, definitely I love the pure Android version of the Pixels. That is definitely the best, the greatest Android experience on any smartphone you can find right now on the Pixel. But I mean, it's not bad on the Samsung. Samsung really make a lot of changes. For example, all the apps looks round now, not like a lot of different shapes. That looks definitely much cleaner, and all like these part is super smooth. All the switching, sliding looks really smooth, and it's all the like swiping, all the app opening, response speed is super awesome. There are some problems when it's talking about stability of this software because sometimes it just crashes, sometimes the app stops. There are a lot of problems with these, but not too much happened. Probably once every like 2 to 3 days. So that is acceptable. I mean, Samsung software is definitely not the best. I mean, Google and Apple is really good at making softwares, and Samsung is definitely not good at making great software user experience. But on this version, I mean, it's okay. It's definitely acceptable, and it's good. It's definitely heading to a good direction. It's much better than the software on the S7 Edge, on the S6, and it's improvement. It's definitely a slightly positive improvement to the previous version. So I would say Samsung pretty much did a great job on the software part. It's super fast, but definitely you have to consider something that many people are saying that the Samsung phone will eventually get slower after using for around 1 year or 2 years. It will really get very slow. I only use Samsung phone for like 2 months. I mean, definitely I cannot say about any experience what was happening after 1 year. So definitely that is questionable. I mean, I heard a lot of people that you say that they're using the Samsung flagship model for about 1 year and phone really get really slow. I don't know if that is true or not, but it's questionable for the software part. Then I want to talk about Bixby. Bixby doesn't work. Bixby is not even great. On the camera part, there's like Bixby Vision, which is truly crap. Truly crap. I don't know who designed this. Definitely not working. I try to like take an image of an item and I search on shopping, but always show me the wrong items. Never works. The Bixby slide card on this side is also not good. It only shows like heart rate, weather, like today activity. You can have Twitter, Facebook. Totally useless. I mean, I don't get it. But definitely Bixby is at the beginning of its development. I mean, I hope there should be something coming out. And I don't see like a lot of artificial intelligence. It cannot predict what I'm going to do next. Even I add into my calendar, it only shows you something, but it never shows you like traffic, direction on the road. It never reminds you on when you should leave for home. Never do that. I mean, Bixby just doesn't work right now. No voice control, no voice activated. For this phone, I still recommend using Google Assistant. You just long press this button and activate Google Assistant, which is really good, really nice. Still better than Bixby. Bixby is definitely at the development part. So, I mean, putting a Bixby button on the left side is really a waste. I really don't know why Samsung don't allow user to change it to Google Assistant or change it to other settings. They really want to make their Bixby become more popular, but I mean, it just doesn't work at this moment. I don't know what's happening next. I don't know how really Samsung gonna improve on that, but right now I would say that Bixby is not working very well, not working at all, not working very well. So there's a lot of other minor part I think I should discuss. For example, the home button, it's give you a tap-to feedback. The tap-to feedback is pretty nice. I love the virtual button. It's still really cool, and there's no question for that. And other than that, I think this phone is overall a really good phone. And if you want me to like comparing to like other flagship smartphone on the market right now, like LG G6, like iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, like Google Pixel and HTC U11, I would say this phone definitely should stand out from the crowd. It's really a good phone, and it's really an amazing phone. And we see a lot of innovations from Samsung putting a lot of effort really making this phone fantastic. I really love the design, the looks, the feeling, the software, and the camera, the hardware of this part. I didn't mention actually the performance in this video because I don't think that's something that's worth to mention, because the performance of this phone is really good. That's the thing I can say. I don't care about how much core, how much GPU, how much CPU you have. I mean, it's really fast right now. After 2 months use, really fast. I play NBA 2K, a lot of graphic intensive game on this phone, no problem. Fantastic hardware, performance. 4GB RAM, kind of less. I really hope 6GB RAM on this phone, just like 1.3T, but 4GB RAM should be good at this moment, should be good. Not really perfect, but it's okay level, it's at an okay level. And when you compare it to Google Pixel, to the iPhone, I mean this phone really stand out to the crowds because of its design, because of how cool it is, and a lot of like really cool feature like iris scanner, like facial recognition, really make this phone really stand out from the crowds. These kind of features definitely not available on the smartphone. Like facial recognition and iris scanner really works perfectly if you combine different kind of unlocking method, like combining the fingerprint plus the facial, or combining the fingerprint plus the iris scanner. But of course you cannot turn on the iris scanner and the facial recognition at the same time. You have to combine it with the fingerprint, one of these. So I mean, this kind of combination really makes you like the unlocking experience much better. When your finger are wet, facial recognition works perfectly. When your facial recognition doesn't work, your fingerprint works perfectly. These kind of combination really makes your unlocking process super smooth, successful all the time. The facial recognition is probably not that safe, probably varies due to the lighting conditions around you. If you're in a dark room, it probably cannot monitor or detect your face really well, but the fingerprint sensor works at that time. So you can really find a way to get into your phone through both the fingerprint or through the facial recognitions, or use your iris scanner. So I think this phone is pretty fantastic. If you let me rate it on a scale from 1 to 10, I would give this phone a solid 9. I mean, for an iPhone 7 to 7 Plus, I would give around an 8.5 to 9, some range like that, to give you an idea of how satisfying I'm really good with this phone. It's definitely a 9, probably the best phone on the market right now. We see a lot of innovative parts from Samsung. We saw a lot of really great latest technologies from Samsung, some really pushing the boundaries forward designs on this phone. I mean, it's really good. Always on display, still really good. I definitely love the always on display. You can always glance the information or notification or time you need really quickly. So that was amazing. I mean, this phone is super awesome. Will I recommend you to buy when you're choosing a flagship? Well, it depends. If you're an iOS user, I mean, continue using the iPhone. I don't recommend you to actually switch to Android because you won't get used to it. If you are an Android user, I think this phone, you should definitely look at it. This phone is the champion at this moment right now. So that's a wrap up for this video. This is a long-term review on the Galaxy S8 Plus, and hope you guys enjoy it and get some information you need in these videos. Thank you for watching, and have a great night everyone. Have a great weekend, and see you guys tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Bye.